Am I good to go? All right.
Go for it.
All
Yes.
right. Right on. So hello, everyone. So nice to see everyone hopping on. We appreciate you carving out some time to jump on. This is something that is near and dear to us. I'm very excited. So again, my name is Sydney Burke. I'm here at Martin University. I am the Executive Director of Student Experience here, which means I oversee Martin Works, which is our career development office, and our Student Support Center. We wanted to make sure we get some awesome information out about our micro-internship program. So we wanted to create this space, a nice, small, intimate space for our corporate partners or individuals learning more information. So very happy that Kristen is hopping in and conducting us. And I just appreciate everyone. So I'll let you go ahead and do your thing, Kristen. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sydney, and a huge kudos to Sydney and the rest of the Martin team for inviting you all, and thank you all so much for joining us, but really appreciate your support, Sydney, and this really great opportunity for particularly those of you who are based in Indiana, but we're going to hear more about that shortly. So again, my name is Kristen Schrader, and I lead the partnerships team at Parker Dewey, which means I get to work with the wonderful folks at Martin University, but also higher education institutions nationwide. My background is in human resources, so those of you who work on the recruiting HR side, that's where my career started. Definitely understand the challenges and the dynamic space that everybody is working in, particularly these, right now. And then if those of you who are in a, working in a recruiting sense, that's what today is all about. So real excited to have you join us. Got a quick poll because I would love to hear from you before we dive into the content about what is top of mind. What hiring challenges are you trying to solve? So I'll stop talking for just a moment and let everyone have a chance to answer this quick poll. And I do see there's a hand raised. We will have a chance at the end for asking questions live. Feel free, but I do have the chat up and running as well. If you do want to have a question that's top of mind in the chat, happy to answer that. All right, so some responses trickling in here, and we'll leave the poll up as well, just so you have a chance to answer this if you have any late arrivals. But top of mind right now, we've got some folks that are hiring for open roles, which is fantastic. And then also reaching targeted talent, growing pipelines is again also top of mind. DE&I is as well. Great, and thank you for the folks trickling in here. Growing student awareness. Students don't know your company, who you are. Great. And again, I'll leave this poll open in case anyone hasn't had a chance to respond. We will circle back to some of the challenges that are mentioned here because micro-internships, Parker Dewey, what we're here to talk about directly supports addressing some of these challenges and giving you yet another tool in the toolbox to hopefully help alleviate some of those challenges that you're facing right now. But before we dig into all of the nitty gritty, I want to just give you a little bit of a background. Parker Dewey essentially has three stakeholders. You'll notice the Venn diagram and the logo. Our stakeholders being you and the companies, the organizations. Our platform is designed to help you access, engage, assess, and ultimately hire early career talent. Early career meaning maybe college students, maybe recent graduates, maybe folks who are relaunching their career or who have done something else and now are going back to school to do a different career. Early career could take a number of different forms, different ages of folks, but that's our mission and goal, is to help you hire and find and hire the next amazing entry-level individual for your team. And our method of doing so is by working with our second stakeholder, the students, these career launchers, as we call them. And our method to helping you engage is short-term paid professional projects, which we call micro-internships. We coined the phrase almost 10 years ago, where we just figured out and said, there's lots of different ways for students and companies to engage, but so many of them are higher stakes. Internships and full-time recruiting, and so it's a big burden. And what we find is that these short-term projects, allowing you to really and truly engage with these students, allow you to work together, can really help you to determine whether or not the student is a good fit and for them to do so as well. Now, Parker Dewey micro-interns are a nationwide network of these early career students, recent grads, and so on, including students at Martin, but also across the state of Indiana and beyond. And so to just define a couple of things here, micro-internships, I'll say it again, but short-term, paid, professional. Those are the key things to keep in mind. But these are designed to be on-demand projects. So maybe your organization already has a robust internship program, but chances are those students aren't going to be coming to your organization until maybe May or June. So many of these are summer-based programs. Well, the types of projects that students are doing as part of an internship are being done as micro-internships year-round by hiring managers who have these needs and have these interests in engaging this early career talent on demand year-round, irrespective of, and it's a complement to those internship programs. Now, projects all have a defined and specific deliverable. So this isn't designed to replace any part-time jobs or ongoing engagements, but rather the specific definitive task or project. Most of these are between 10 to 40 hours in total. Could they be longer? Yeah. Could they be shorter? Yeah, it's hard to get much shorter than 10 hours, but we have seen some. And again, they're on demand year round. Big part of our mission and goal for you all is to make it easy. And so part of that, or as part of that, Parker Dewey handles all of the administration of these projects. So as I mentioned, these are all paid projects. Well, the payment comes from Parker Dewey. So you don't have to worry about onboarding them, all the HR, legal admin type tasks. We take care of that for you. An extra incentive, and that's why you'll see that Indiana for the Bold logo in the corner of the slide, is that thanks to the generosity of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, if you are an Indiana-based organization or have some sort of footprint in the state of Indiana, you can take part in this IEDC, or Indiana Economic Development Corporation micro-internship program, where essentially the corporation has funded 20-hour micro-internships at no cost to your organization, so long as you pick a student who's attending an Indiana college or university. 2-year, 4-year, private, public, doesn't matter, as long as it's a student in Indiana or at an Indiana school. The students will be paid $400 for completing that micro-internship, that 20-hour project. It doesn't cost you a dime, as long as you're an Indiana-based organization. Now, if you're not in Indiana, no problem. You have the flexibility, as you'll see, to participate in micro-internships of projects of any size, and to certainly take advantage of the platform. Now, last thing to keep in mind is these are designed to be projects that are professional. So this isn't go get my groceries or babysit my kids, nothing wrong with those, but that's just not what we do. There's other platforms to get that kind of support. These are designed to be professional projects, similar to what a student would do in an internship or that first job after college. So to get started, 3 quick and easy steps. Post the project, pick the student that you want to work with, and the work gets done. Now, part of the reason, again, we want to make this easy for you, handling all that admin, but we also provide support for every step of the way. So for example, a big question a lot of folks will have is, what makes a good micro-internship? What are some good projects? And so for that, we have a project library, but I'll give you a specific example here where you can go straight to the Martin University micro-internship website. And I'll put the link to this in the chat just in case anyone wants to check it out live. And you can click create an account straight from that particular website. And just to give you a little bit more background on this particular page, it explains how it all works. And you can also see some templates of different projects. Again, just to give you an idea, not to say that the projects that you see here are the only options, not at all. You can always post a custom project however you wish. But let's say, for instance, that this user experience testing project is something that is of interest to you, or maybe you recently updated your website, or you've launched an app, or you just would love to have some other users test it out before you go to market at scale. That becomes a really great micro-internship where you can engage one or multiple students to give you that perspective, a third-party perspective about the usability of that particular product. And again, social media, campus club research, website updates, there's a lot of different types of projects, but I'll stick to this user experience testing example, just as a quick example here. And again, if you don't have an account yet, click sign up to do so. But if you already do, and once you do, that project that you selected will pre-populate. Now you can adjust it however you'd like. So if you don't want the project to start for a few days, or you want to set it to start, say, on Monday, no problem. You could have it end whenever you'd like as well. Now, most micro-internships start right away, so within a few days, and wrap up within a few weeks. So a 20-hour project, typically those projects are completed within 2 to 4 weeks. Could it be longer than that? Sure. Could it be shorter? Yes, but do keep in mind that these are students who are oftentimes juggling not just your project, but also their academic priorities, classes, etc. Maybe a part-time job, maybe they have extracurricular activities, maybe they're a student athlete, and so on. Every student's different, but just something to keep in mind as you're setting the timeline for your project. Now from there, you can add the location where you're located. Now most micro-internships are remote, but you do have the option to say that you want it to be on-site, or if you're looking at a hybrid project, you can clarify and say, yep, I do need somebody to be at my office at some point, which is where having that location is particularly important and helpful. The next section is the applicants section, where you can see the cost information pre-populate. Now for this particular project, that 20-hour micro-internship can be fully funded if you're an Indiana-based employer, thanks to that Indiana Economic Development Corporation program. Or if you're funding it on your own, maybe you're based outside of the state of Indiana, you'll see the suggested price point here. Now, let me walk you through this. So estimated hours is just that, like how much time it typically takes a student to do a project like this. Now, you can adjust this. Maybe for this user experience testing project, your website isn't that complicated, or you don't think it'll take quite as long, it's just not as robust, no problem. You can adjust it down. You can adjust the pricing. Now, if you, for example, say, oh, I only have a budget of $100, we're going to have a little pop-up come up. Because first and foremost, our number one vetting criteria is, are the students being paid and paid fairly? You'll get that pop-up anytime the pricing drops below an equivalent of $15 per hour. We want to make sure your project is paid fairly and also attractively, so that the students will be excited to apply. And so you would bump this up to, again, we recommend at least $20 per estimated hour of work. And you'll see the students will receive, in this case, $200. The amount you would pay is $222 and some change, which is 10% above that $200. Parker Dewey does retain that $22 and so on, just to cover our costs of administering the project. But again, $200 of that goes to the student. That $22 pays for that administrative expense. There is no cost to create a Parker Dewey account. And there is also no cost to post a project. We only invoice you if you select a student. Also keep in mind, if you're participating as part of that IEDC program, you will not be charged, provided that your project meets with and aligns with the stipulations of that program. And you'll see that listed right here. We also have an email address, because there's a lot of programs out there, a lot of things, details. We want to make sure you have the answers to any of your questions that you have. Also keep in mind, this is a very scalable option for you. If you want to work with one student, great. But if you think it'll be great to have the perspectives of multiple students, you can adjust your goal of how many students you want to hire to whatever you want. There's no obligation. You're only invoiced once you select one or however many students that you pick. So once you see the applicant pool, you can say, wow, I want to hire more, or maybe your plans change and you don't want to hire as many right away. Again, you have total flexibility. One other piece is that Parker Dewey, one of our missions and goals is that this be an opportunity for you to find the next amazing member of your team. We want you to find and hire these students long-term if there's a mutual fit. So a big part of our mission and goal being that we want this to be a hiring resource. We're not going to charge you a dime if you do hire these students long-term. Meaning, after the project, if you want to say, hey, I want to hire them for an internship on my team, full-time, whatever, great. There's no finder's fee. There's no temp to perm. We want that to happen. Last couple of sections just to be aware of. You can, if you like, stipulate if there's any particular skills that you need the students to have, or maybe they need to be familiar with a specific software or Power BI or anything like that. And you can highlight those things. You can also say that you only want the project from Martin students if you wish. And so doing this, you will have that project be front and center whenever a Martin student applies for that project. You can also leave it open so that any student from any school will see that project. And then you can filter based on a student's school to whatever schools are of interest to you. One last option, if you like, if you're interested in participating in that Indiana Economic Development Corporation program, go ahead and list the name of that program, and then your project will only be open to eligible students at those Indiana schools. That way you don't have to remember all the 40 whatever schools that there are in Indiana, and it'll cover them all, and you can pick whatever student you'd like based on that. Last couple of sections, you can highlight some of your goals, and if you're looking at this for a longer term opportunity, this helps Parker Dewey to know how we can best support you. And then there's a few application questions that you can have the student answer, which becomes your primary vetting tool, where you can really see the student, how effectively do they answer these questions, how good of a fit are they for that particular project. And then once those you filled everything out, you can click post now and your project is ready to go. And so I did leave a couple of screenshots just as a reference. For example, that listing Martin or that Indiana Economic Development Corporation section, I have a screenshot there just so you can have that refresher if you want to go back and take a deeper dive into any of these slides, or share this with a colleague. You can certainly do so. But from there, once you've posted your project, you will only see those students who've applied. So that way you don't have to worry about, are they interested? Are they available? You'll only see a student who is interested, who is available, who has proactively applied for your opportunity. You'll see their profile. You'll see if they uploaded a resume or a link to their LinkedIn profile, and you'll be able to see how they answered those short answer application questions so that you can quickly decide who is the best fit for that particular project. And then from there, once you've selected the student, you're immediately put in touch with them. You get their name, their contact information, so that you and they can meet via Zoom, Teams, or whatever works best for you to go over the details of the project, clarify any timelines, give them any background. They might need some additional resources or access to a document, or maybe you want to communicate via Slack or some other internal channels. It's really up to you. We see a lot of different ways that students and companies interface with each other. So whatever works best for you and the student and how you want to execute this project. What we typically see, though, is very hands-off for you. After that initial 5, 10, 15-minute kickoff meeting, the student works autonomously, meeting whatever deadlines that you stipulate, but also you are no longer having to worry about that project because the student has it covered for you. We find the students are very motivated. They want to do a great job on these projects. They want to put to work what they're learning in the classroom, and they're getting a great education at Martin University. And so this really gives them a chance to put that to work, and also gives you that just-in-time support and that early look at a student who might be the next great member of your team. And so why does it work so well? Well, big reason that we see is that it supports both you and the students so effectively. For example, for the students, we hear that this is the primary way that they want to interface, they want to engage with companies. As I just mentioned, they're going to school, but they want to put to work what they're learning. And so this gives them that great early opportunity. And they are doing so as early as their first year, but all the way through, even upon and after graduation. And then similarly for companies, we see that through this one platform, you can interface with students across thousands of academic institutions, academic majors, programs, all the years, et cetera. If DE&I is of interest or important to your organization, this is also something that we have again and again and again seen really helps organizations connect with students from underrepresented backgrounds. Statistically, we have seen that over 80% of the students selected come from historically underrepresented backgrounds. And keep in mind, that's not because we're picking them or their school is picking the student, but these are the students who are the best fit for the project based on the company. And it's happening organically. We are honored and excited to see that, but it's just because they're the best fits for the project. That's really truly a way, breaking down barriers from that respect. We also see that the students do a phenomenal job. 97% of the companies have said that the students met or exceeded their expectations. We also see that the students are more likely to stay in that organization that they've worked with long term when they've had these micro internships, just as a way to clarify that this is truly what they want to do long term. So why does this work so well? Well, a lot of it is because just the simple fact of applying and working with the student allows you to see not only their hard skills, can they do the project, but also to be able to assess those core skills, those soft skills, those things that we all need no matter what job we're recruiting for. Are they a self-starter? Do they have a good attention to detail? You can see that just by simply having them apply, to take that effort to draft and create a project, and, or excuse me, to create an application, answer those questions, and so on. Through working with them on these projects, it doesn't take too much of your time, but does allow you to really be able to see how effectively and professionally do they communicate with you. Are they coachable? When you gave them a little feedback, what did they do with it? Did they implement it? Did they get defensive? Did they follow through? Did they meet a deadline? How many of us have worked with folks that don't do those things, but this project can help you filter out those that, again, may not meet some of those things that you're really looking for. And then, of course, the work product itself. You can see, is it professionally presented? Does it have lots of typos? Does it have and meet those questions that you really wanted the student to dig into? You can really assess all of those things just through this one product or one opportunity. And this also, those of you who work in HR, aggregates together into some really powerful data. We've recently launched a tool called Parker Dewey Plus for those recruiters who are really interested in not only how does a student perform on one singular project, but where their organizations are doing dozens, if not hundreds, of micro internships and are seeing statistics and data around and feedback from all the different hiring managers, where geographically are the students coming from and applying from and being selected from, some of the demographic information and so on. And this data is becoming very, very powerful and actionable for helping to inform companies' early career recruiting strategies. I'm not going to talk too much more about that because we do have a couple of events coming up in the next few weeks to just, you can certainly join us. Actually, a few weeks, it's January is slipping by, but January 28th, we're going to be hosting an event for any of you who might be interested in learning a little bit more about where and how this might fit in from a recruiting tool standpoint and how it can be used. We also find, most organizations who are excited to learn more about how all this works from a recruiting standpoint, it's best to start with a conversation. Understand your goals, your needs, and what we call that is micro-internship program. And so for those companies that, again, are doing this at scale, it starts with a conversation. We want to understand what are some of the problems or challenges that you're trying to solve? Maybe some of the things that are mentioned in this little poll question that I asked at the onset of the webinar. But maybe some of the challenges might be you're trying to hire for a role that's really, really difficult. Or maybe you're trying to deepen a relationship with a target school. Maybe you know and love Martin students, but the students don't know your organization as well as you like. Maybe you'd like to reach students earlier, first or second year students. Maybe you're really excited about student athletes or students who come from a particular academic program. These types of goals are where micro internships can be a really effective way to at least start your program, your strategy, and to really help address that particular challenge or pain point. And just to give you a couple of quick examples of what that looks like. So for example, if you have an open role that you're hiring for right now, our team loves to have a conversation about a specific job because a micro internship can easily become a project centered around an audition for that job. For example, let's say it's a role in sales. We see a micro internship around do research on one of our products, pull together a 10-minute pitch about that product, and deliver it via Zoom. That's a very scalable project that we see again and again and again, where companies will hire maybe 1 or 2 students, more likely 5, 10, 20 students from across a variety of different schools or majors or different profiles to be able to get a nice, robust pool of talent to be able to assess, can that student or do they have the right aptitude for a role in our sales team? And you don't have to take it from me. In this case, we see this happen. Smith and Nephew, for example, a medical device company that you can learn more about on our employer website testimonials. They did that for some of their business development roles. Again, medical device, they were recruiting for, yes, sales/business majors, but they also found a lot of success with this strategy recruiting liberal arts majors or engineering students, again, because the diversity of perspective that this project really attracted of students from a wide spectrum of talent and students. Just to give you another example, our team will help you dissect your job description to identify projects that might be a good fit for whatever it is that you're looking for. If this is an entry-level data marketer project, for instance, gathering, analyzing, and reporting marketing data, well, a great project that aligns with that skill set might be that data cleanup and visualization project. Now, don't worry, our team will help you with doing this. We have a team that's their job, to help you understand, identify, and figure out some projects that would be a good fit for helping you to make this assessment. Now, maybe your hiring goals are a little bit further out. You're trying to maybe build your brand on campus. That's where a campus ambassador can be a phenomenal micro-internship opportunity. These students will be your boots on the ground, give you that perspective, front-end perspective on what are some of the campus clubs and organizations that you should be engaging with to fill your target roles. They'll tell you the students, the leaders that you should know. They'll tell you the faculty. They'll maybe be able to do presentations in the different classes. So they can help you with spreading your reach by just having that peer-to-peer opportunity. They maybe help with social media to tag their friends and do some of those things. And again, helps to really engage, particularly this Generation Z population of students. And then maybe your goals are further out. Maybe you're really excited about first or second year students and not necessarily worried as much about your class of 2025 students, but maybe 2026 or beyond. And that's where, again, micro-internships are a phenomenal way to engage students as early as their freshman year, to be able to understand, do they have those core skills to get them excited about working for your organization and to keep them engaged all throughout their 4 years so that by the time they're ready for your internship or full-time roles, you'll be on their short list because you'll have had so many years and experiences working with them over that since their first year on campus. And fortunately, it's not difficult to get started with any of this, and it doesn't break the bank for these organizations from what we understand. And again, what we hear is that especially these Indiana-based companies, you can get started very economically through the Indiana Economic Development Corporation program, but also you can have access to the platform just as a pilot, and you can see lots of different benefits depending on on your goals. And our team can help you with strategizing this and give you some more nuance and specifics. Why now? Well, again, we're hearing from companies that it is a challenging time for engaging early career talent. Lots of last minute needs, lots of things are changing real time right now. And this nuance can really, and the flexibility of the micro-internship model can really help to address some of those different challenges. I'll leave the slide here. I won't go through all the details, but launching this particular program can be done within a matter of a week. Most micro-internships are filled within 48 hours. So this is something that, again, can be very, very quick and efficient to give you those results that you need as quickly as possible. So going back to my initial question, what are some of those challenges that you're trying to solve? That could be a great starting point for where and how micro-internships could fit with your needs right now. So many of you indicated that you're hiring for these entry-level roles and internships. That's a great starting point. But you also, some of you mentioned, for example, DE&I is top of mind. And so if you can click on any of these different case studies to learn more. But, oops, excuse me, I click on the wrong thing. My apologies. But yeah, okay, we'll fix that link. But there, again, this DE&I example gives you some specific details about how a micro-internship can help address that particular challenge, and then some actionable ideas to give you some ideas. For example, engaging an employee resource group that's dedicated to a population from an underrepresented backgrounds, and then they can go out and identify projects and help build relationships with students that align with those that employee resource group's goals. To just give you a few examples, there's many more that you can check out. But as far as next steps, again, post that micro-internship. And we have that Martin specific page that I'll put once again in the chat, and you can certainly check that out at your leisure. From there, if you are interested in how this could fit into some larger campus recruiting goals, don't be a stranger. I'd love to have a conversation about how and where this might be effective for your particular needs. And so to that end, I'm going to pass the mic back over to Sydney, but I do want to thank both Sydney for your invitation to chat today, and then for everybody who joined us live.
Thank you, Kristen. Well, I appreciate everyone that was able to hop on today, share the information. If you have more questions, of course, you can connect with me one-on-one. Send me an email, give me a shout out, or however it might be. But let me know what I can do to help. And again, if you have any other questions, just send me out an email. So I appreciate it.
And likewise, I just put my email in the chat as well. We'll be sending on along the recording slides and all, the usual follow-ups post-webinar. So if anyone wants or needs anything, wants to capture anything that was discussed, don't be a stranger. I'm also happy to stick around if folks have some questions or want to ask anything live. But again, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And I'll talk to you here soon. Thanks, Kristen. I'll talk to you here shortly too.
Likewise.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Kumalika, I noticed that you had your hand raised. It's actually just you and I left. So I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to